Welcome to the Stormsurf video surf forecast for the Indian Ocean for the week starting Sunday, July 6th. Brought to you by Kandui Resort in Mentawai Islands, a great place to go surfing. First up, we take a look at significant wave heights for the Indian Ocean. Currently, a system with 33 to 34 foot seas is pushing east out of the Indian Ocean, but still some energy aimed up towards the Mentawai Islands and certainly for southwestern Australia, and another system with seas in the 22 to 24 foot range trying to organize in the far southwest Indian Ocean. So, the beat goes on. More swell production is in progress. First up, let's take a look at jet stream level winds. These winds are up at about 30,000 feet. They help direct the track of storms when they form and also help support the formation of storms, mainly through the production of troughs, that is, winds blowing to the north. And currently there is a trough under southwest Australia, and as we noticed on the significant wave height charts, there are seas in this region. Clearly a gale is active in this region, but it is pretty much starting to move out of the main Indian Ocean basin. Another trough is developing in the far southwest Indian Ocean. Winds here in the 100 knot range, kind of a pinched off trough. And then there is this bit of a ridge. This does not support storm or gale formation, but really supports high pressure at the ocean surface. So, two systems of interest or areas of interest at the moment. Let's put this into motion, see what happens. As expected, this first trough moves out. This trough here starts sinking a little bit to the south, moving more towards Antarctica, but probably it provides some support for background swell production, while another trough develops under southern Africa on Tuesday. That trough actually looks pretty good. Up at one point there, we saw 140 knot winds blowing north. That'll help get some circulation going in lower levels of the atmosphere. And that continues sort of east, and yet more energy starts pushing under South Africa. This time 150 plus knot winds, and we have a bit of a northward motion here. This is a broader trough, a little bit better to support storm production, while this ridge starts pushing out of the Indian Ocean. And that we're out now into Friday, and we have this very broad, elongated trough starting to set up. That is actually good news. That continues. This is the main area of production here, but again with 150 knot winds blowing into it, providing some support for gale production into the weekend, and then that sort of pushes out of the picture by late Sunday, and we move into more of a zonal flow. Let's go take a look down at the surface and see what's forecast. Now we're looking at surface level winds, surface level pressure. High pressure here in the mid-Indian Ocean. Low pressure here in about the 964 millibar range. Difference in pressure is generating winds, southwest winds, targeting southwest Australia. 40 knot winds here, that's good for sea production for sure. And yet another low pressure system here developing, but notice these winds are more pointed towards Antarctica. A little bit of fetch here on the backside of the system, aimed up more towards the Mentawai Islands and probably southwestern Australia. Let's put this into motion, see what happens. That low actually develops. We have 45 knot winds. Let's take a look at sort of aimed reasonably enough up about the 200 degree past the Mentawai Islands and into western Australia, better on about the 216 degree path. Put that into motion, and that sort of chugs along east and then backs off, and another system starts forming under South Africa on Tuesday, but only doesn't do a whole lot initially. But then here we go, we got 45 knot winds, and yet another system here, 45 knot winds, aimed definitely at the Mentawai Islands. Notice both these almost on the same track. That would be good for production of seas. And then relative to Western Australia, not so much, but not completely out of the realm of possibility too. Anyway, this system here continues on. This is actually aimed at this point pretty well at Australia. The 237, good fetch right there, and this guy continues on 35, almost 40 knot winds as well. and we roll that into motion. Notice this one falls south. This one starts pushing north again, continuing on into Friday. Makes its way pretty much the whole way across the Indian Ocean. Not particularly strong, but reasonably broad and certainly long-lasting. Then things sort of flatten out, and that's the end of our roll, but yet another system continuing under South Africa. Let's go take a look at these significant wave height charts. As we saw before, 32-foot seas in the southeast Indian Ocean, targeting Western Australia pretty well. Look at that, right up the, was that 210-degree path, and in very close proximity. So large, probably raw swell expected for this area. And actually, we can go back a little bit and see how this did. Notice it formed on Saturday, and what we're looking for is energy towards the Mentawai Islands for sure. Definitely some sideband energy for there as well. 190 to about 188 degree path. So everyone's going to get a little energy from this one too, and possibly a little bit more than a little, especially for southwestern Australia and South Australia. We roll this out. We're into Monday now. Here comes the next system. 36-foot seas, displaced well to the south. Sideband swell, though, for Mentawai is about the 195-degree path, and also for Western Australia, 215-degree path. And that pushes east and kinds of fade. But then it does sort of tries to make this north push again, another push for Western Australia. Actually, we'll put this back. Yeah, no, it's just that one there. Probably not a little bit of sideband energy for the Mentawais, but mainly this looks like a southwestern Australia sort of system. And yet another system here and here trying to get organized. We're into Wednesday. Notice this one's more falling south, but it is on the path to the Mentawais, about the 212-degree path. And then this other system here for sure under South Africa, 212 degrees as well. Roll that out. This guy's actually moving pretty well to the north, right up towards the Mentawais, assuming it forms as forecast. We'll put that in motion again. Sort of look at that path, and it blooms up again. 210-degree path, 32-foot seas on Friday, pushing well towards the Mentawais. That's good for probably a pretty healthy dose of 17-second period swell. And then it starts tracking more due east and does its thing at providing energy for southwest Australia as well into Saturday. And then it fades out, and then we got another little system trying to organize. So overall, nothing super outstanding, but consistent, solid, mid to long range period swell for the prime targets, Mentawai Islands, southwestern Australia, Bali, all that doing quite well from this. So it looks like a good week to be in that area. So the beat goes on for the Indian Ocean, Mentawai Islands, southwestern Australia. It is their prime season. Good time to be there. Good time to get some surf. And if you're going to be in that region of the world, certainly check out Kandui Resort in the Mentawai Islands. It's a great place to stay, great surf, great breaks within very close distance of where you stay. Couldn't be a better deal. Check it out. Thanks again. See you next week, same time, same channel.